everyone. I'm making a video for you today on Muller Rusch's Lesson 65 on page 70, number 336, the whole thing. In this particular exercise, it says in my part that all instruments have the melody. But again, it only shows me the violin part. So I will definitely play the violin part melody, and I'll also play the harmony for the rest of you. I don't know if you have any specific fingerings for the rest of the instruments. I'm speaking of viola, cellos, and basses. So I can't guide you on that. I can only guide you on the violin part, but you'll at least hear the melody, so that's helpful. I will be playing for all the parts, the harmony part. I do have that written for all the instruments, so that will be available to you. For the tempo markings in this, for all of the instruments, I'm going to be going a dotted quarter note is 60 beats per minute. So that means if I have my metronome up on 60, it'll sound like this. And because you're in 6/8 time, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how fast those eighth notes will be. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Violins, let's look at your melody line first. And for everybody else watching this, for the melody line, I don't know what your fingerings look like, but can I at least talk to you about it? This is the violin part of how to play it. This one's a little bit tricky because you have to cross strings quite a few times, and sometimes that's with a low 4 and a low 1. And you're going to want to play open A's or something to that regard, and you can't. So there's actually more string crossings than you would think. This one can be difficult to get in tune. What I would recommend, and actually I would recommend this for anybody anyways, is to warm up with that E flat major scale, number 334 first, and then go do this one so you can kind of get used to that. Here is the melody line. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Here's the harmony line for the violin part. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Violas. I only have your harmony line written in my part. That is okay. This one can be a little tricky for the harmony line only because you have to make sure you play low 1s and low 2s. But other than that, you don't have too many notes in this. Just make sure low 1s are low enough and you should be okay. Violas, I do want to say that at letter C, it's going to sound a little funky. It will not sound correct. So if you look at the measure before C, you have a regular third finger, but then you have a B natural. So that's just a regular second finger, and then you have a low 1 after that. You have the low A flat. So it'll sound C, B, C, A flat, open G. That is actually correct. But if you were to play this with everybody, the chord would make sense. So my suggestion to you, violas, is once you've practiced this, try looking at either the violin, the cello, or the bass part, and play your part with one of their tracks so you can see how that's actually going to fit in together. So you're not just like, ooh, why does that sound so gross? It's supposed to, it's okay. Here's the harmony line for the viola part. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Cellos, let's look at your part first. You're actually going to be starting in second position, but you're starting in second position not on your A string like you did the scale. You're going to start in second position on your D string. So your finger is going, where you would normally play an F natural, like that second finger, that's where your first finger is going to go. That's what you're going to do. And then it says you're going to start on your third finger G in second position. So where your fourth tape is, put your third finger there. So it'll start, and then fourth finger, that'll be your A flat. The reason they're having you do that is so that you don't have all these gross extensions all the time. Because if you're just going 3, 4, 3, that's a lot easier than doing like extended 2, extended 4, 2. That's why they're doing that. They're actually trying to help you. You're going to stay in second position, and luckily it's just back and forth between those two notes until you get to A, where it says first position. So after you play that third finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where your third finger is right now, you're going to shift and you'll be in first position like you normally are, and then you'll start, then you'll go on with all your first position notes. Make sure you do a low 1. You go back into second position though, starting in the third measure of B. So once you've started with B and you have that C natural, fourth finger, then you're going to go from fourth finger, and the next note is that A flat. You're going to go, your third finger is going to go where your fourth finger is, but you're going to shift it all together because that fourth finger is your next note. It's a little funky sounding. And then from there, the entire time you stay in second position. So you just stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3. And then first finger, third finger. That's how your part goes. This is one of those things you might have to practice it a few times. You might have to practice the second position parts separately, and then the first position parts separately, and then put them all together so you learn the transitions between those notes and how to get them. This is a difficult part, but it is actually easier playing it this way versus the alternative. I hope that was helpful. This is the harmony line for the cello part of 336. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Let's talk about your part a little bit first. If you look, you're going to be staying in half position the entire time. You don't have to shift back up to first like you did in the E flat major scale, but you are going to stay in half position. I still recommend practicing that E flat major scale first before you go and do this one. There are some parts, and it might sound a little funky if your hand is not really actually in half position, which is why I recommend the scale first. There are some spots, like at B, if you hold your fingers down in the first two measures, because you have that C natural, fourth finger C natural because you're in half position, open G, fourth finger C natural again, and then a low one, which is an A flat, I would kind of keep your fingers down so that when you're crossing those strings, your fourth finger will still be in tune. That'll just help set up your hand for when you have to go to that low one in the third measure. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have a lot of low ones. So let's get into the bass part. This is the harmony line of the bass part for lesson 65, number 336. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. This video helped you all. Again, I'm sorry for the viola cello bass that I don't have your melody line on the page. It just assumes I should know what all of your parts would be. It's okay though. Let me know if you have any questions in Google Classroom. Talk to you later. Bye.